morning and welcome to MCI News. I'm your host, Melvin Fairfield. Today we caught wind of a story that shocked the nation, the October crisis. Right now we're going to dig deeper into the story and learn all the angles. One of our live reporters is on the case, all the way from Montreal, finding the real story behind the October crisis, Robin Bell. Thanks, Melvin. Firstly, to understand the October crisis, we have to look at the causes and the consequences. One of the main causes of the October crisis was the cultural conditions at the time. As a minority, the French people of Quebec felt their culture was threatened and they were being forced to assimilate. The economic conditions also played a role in this. Many French people had to leave the rural areas to find employment. This made people feel as though their traditions were being lost through urbanization. This was an indirect cause because another economical change was the many large businesses being owned by English people, and English was the main language being spoken. This made some people of Quebec become separatists, striving for Quebec to become independent from Canada. This is where the FLQ came in. The making of this group was a direct cause of the October crisis. The FLQ were hoping to make a big commotion and hopefully start a revolution to overthrow the government and become a society of Quebecois workers. The crimes they committed were the most direct causes of the October crisis. They committed 200 crimes, including bombings, robberies, and of course kidnappings. The kidnappings of the two politicians, James Cross and Pierre Laporte. This completely changed the way the FLQ was viewed and struck fear into the heart of many people of Quebec. The consequences of the October crisis brought many lasting effects, especially for those who were kidnapped and their families. One of the first consequences was the administering of the War Measures Act. This was a direct consequence because the government now saw the FLQ as a large threat and used the War Measures Act to protect the people. This act took away many people's rights. 400 innocent people were arrested and their homes searched. Another consequence of the crisis was the death of Pierre Laporte. This was an indirect because to make more people fear them and to punish the government for administering the War Measures Act, the FLQ killed him. Another consequence of the October crisis was Bill 22 being administered. This was a direct consequence because the culture conditions at the time. After the crisis, the government felt it was their job to protect the Quebecois culture. This bill ensured all public institutions were to conduct business in French, and all contracts be written in French. Business must have a French name, and children of immigrants must go to French schools. After the October crisis, 400,000 Anglophones left Quebec. This was an indirect cause of the October crisis because many left because of the new laws. They didn't want to do their living and working in French. A big part of the crisis was ethics. There were many ethical dimensions of the October crisis. The War Measures Act was a big part of the October crisis. Trudeau felt as though it was important to protect the people and stop the violence and blackmail. Some people agreed with this and thought it was necessary to take as much action as possible. Though many people didn't agree with the War Measures Act, many people found this took away their basic human rights and disrespected their dignity. They believed innocent until proven guilty. They felt as though the War Measures Act was taking it too far, and the ethics of the FLQ were important too, as many people viewed the FLQ as a terrorist group who were trying to gain authority by violence. Though some people may view the FLQ as people fighting for protection and the value of their culture, some people believe the FLQ were fighting for equality. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Robin Bell reporting live. Back to you, Melvin.